अस्सलाम वालेकुम एवरीवन, दिस इज़ सना खान, COO एट HospitALL और पॉडकास्ट की एक ब्रांड न्यू और बहुत स्पेशल एपिसोड के साथ दोबारा से आपकी खिदमत में हाजिर हूँ। मेरे साथ स्टूडियोज़ में आज एक बहुत ही डायनामिक पर्सनालिटी मौजूद है और जैसे कि मैं हर BTS की बातें आपको बताती हूँ और इस दफ़ा भी मैंने इनसे क्वेश्चन किया कि हाउ वुड यू लाइक टू डिफाइन योर सेल्फ इन 2 keywords। मेरे साथ स्टूडियो में मौजूद हैं आयशा नासिर। बहुत सारे लोगों को इनकी एक्चुअल असल वाली जो क्वालिफ़िकेशन है वो नहीं पता, क्योंकि ये एक बहुत खूबसूरत प्लेटफॉर्म चला रही हैं ख़वातीन के लिए, जिसके ऊपर हम बात करेंगे। लेकिन सबसे पहले बात करते हैं उन 2 keywords की जिनमें आयशा अपने आप को डिफ़ाइन करती हैं। सो नंबर 1, शी इज़ अ स्टोरी टेलर एंड आई कैन ऑब्वियसली वाउच फॉर दैट। शी इज़ अ ग्रेट स्टोरी टेलर एंड शी हैज़ बीन एन एंटरप्रेन्योर एज वेल। But Ayesha is an MBBS doctor and she has been running a premium desi motherhood brand। उसके बारे में भी आज बात करेंगे। पॉडकास्ट में हम ये भी बात करेंगे कि पर्सनल और प्रोफेशनल जर्नी, वर्क लाइफ बैलेंस, पेरेंटिंग, उसके चैलेंजेस और उसके साथ इतनी बड़ी कम्युनिटी को लीड करना, इन सारी चीज़ों को एक साथ मैनेज करने में आयशा के चैलेंजेस क्या हैं और वो इससे किस तरह कोप कर रही हैं। और इसके बावजूद हम सोशल मीडिया पे इनको बहुत एक्टिव भी देखते हैं, बहुत इंगेजिंग एक्टिविटीज़ करती हुई दिखाई दे रही होती हैं, कम्युनिटी के लिए बहुत सारे नए इनिशिएटिव्स भी स्टार्ट कर रही होती हैं। सो इन सारी चीज़ों के बारे में आज बात करेंगे। स्टिक अराउंड। थैंक यू सो मच आयशा फॉर कमिंग।
Thank you, Sana, for having me.
Thank you finally for making
I know.
time.
It's been going on for a while.
You have to give me 10 on 10 for my
Yes,
follow-up
that's
game.
true. Persistence, you get full marks.
Thank you so much. अच्छा, सबसे पहले तो ये बताएं कि आपका प्रोफाइल जब कोई भी लेमैन सर्च करता है ऑन द इंटरनेट तो डॉक्टर टर्न्ड जर्नलिस्ट, और जर्नलिज्म में जब आपकी जर्नी को हम देखते हैं तो इतने बड़े बड़े नाम वहाँ पे दिख रहे होते हैं कि आपका काम कहाँ कहाँ फीचर हो चुका है और आप कहाँ कहाँ पे कंट्रीब्यूट कर चुकी हैं। ये मेडिकल और जर्नलिज्म के बीच में आप कैसे देखती हैं लिंक को?
So when I went to medical school, tab, in Pakistan you go right after A levels. So I was 17 and I think अभी भी ये नोशन है, बट पहले तो बहुत ज़्यादा था कि इफ़ यू वर स्मार्ट, एंड आई वाज लाइक वेरी स्मार्ट, मतलब आई स्टूड फर्स्ट इन O levels एंड आई हैड लाइक all A's A level में, head girl of every school I went to, like always getting academic excellence. So एक natural belief होता है कि if you're smart you're going to become a doctor. Like that's kind of a given. अभी भी I feel है, like I hear it अभी भी, but पहले तो बहुत ज़्यादा था. And also if you were the child of a doctor, it was a given. So I wouldn't say that I was pressured into it, but this was just a given path. कि अगर आप मतलब जिस तरह लाइक फॉर एग्जांपल अगर आप कोई फैमिली बिजनेस को देखो इन पाकिस्तान, इफ इट्स अ बिग फैमिली बिजनेस, द अजम्पशन इज कि ऑफ कोर्स the son or the daughter will go into the business, right? Like if you look at the Nishat group, for example, or even NetSol, like there is an inherent understanding which वो तो एक अलग डिबेट है कि वो सही है कि गलत है. द सेम केस विद डॉक्टर्स कि इफ़ यू आर द डॉटर ऑफ अ डॉक्टर एंड यू आर सो स्मार्ट कि एवरीबडी इन लाहौर knows that you're very smart and you're super smart and you're people talk about your IQ and brains, so it's a given कि okay, she's going to become a doctor. So and also because in Pakistan there is no, like my son who's 11 was telling me yesterday that I'm very worried. तो मैंने कहा क्यों, क्या हुआ? He's like, I don't know what I want to be when I grow up. तो उसको वो बहुत like anxious हो रहा था कि why do I not know what I want to be? And then I told him, I said, Ahil, inshallah my aim for you guys are that you will go to the US where college is meant to be an exploration. You don't need to know. But that's not how Pakistan works, right? Like you need to know even before your A levels. O levels where you when you are what, like 13, 14, you need to know कि भाई हमने क्या करना है.
Without any exposure at that time.
Exactly. And हमारे लिए colleges are not places to expose yourself, to to explore, to think, to research. For us, colleges are a path to your final goal, which in many ways I feel is not the best thing, which is why a lot of people that you talk to, अगर आप उनसे पूछो do you enjoy what you do, they're like enjoy मतलब हम कर रहे हैं, रोटी मिल रही है, right? Like honestly, because I talk to so many people, even when I talk to women, I'm like, oh, do you love what you do? And they're like, love मतलब we've been doing this for 26 years, तो बस हम आते हैं, एक routine, it pays the bills. but which is why maybe we don't excel. Because if you don't have that insane passion कि I am doing this because मैंने दुनिया बदल देनी है, then obviously excelling is hard. लेकिन वो इसीलिए नहीं ना आता because we are asked, and because हम इतने छोटे होते हैं like 14, 13 पे कि जनरली हम खुद भी नहीं वो डिसीजंस करते. आवर मदर्स मेक द डिसीजंस, आवर फादर्स, आवर टीचर्स. कभी कभी द प्रिंसिपल ऑफ द स्कूल वुड बी लाइक, ओ ये साइंसेस में बड़ा अच्छा है, साइंसेस में डाल दो. अगर आपने प्योर साइंसेस ली हुई हैं तो एक्सपेक्टेशन है कि आप डॉक्टर बनोगे. सो आई रिमेंबर उस दिन आई वाज रीडिंग a story. It was like the headlines अखबारों में कि the triplets, and they are the sons of one doctor, triplets make it to King Edward Medical College, and like बहुत बड़ी खबर थी. And I was thinking कि yes, they're triplets, एक ही एज के हैं, लेकिन maybe one of them wanted to be an artist. I obviously don't know them, but you know the news was कि oh एक डॉक्टर के बेटे हैं, they're all triplets, तीनों made it to KE, and obviously KE is a very high merit. लेकिन ये I don't know कि उन बच्चों से किसी ने कभी पूछा कि भाई तुम brilliant हो, but do you want to be a brilliant engineer? Do you want to be brilliant at AI? Do you want to be brilliant at art? But you know, so jab tak that mentality doesn't change, we will see a lot of people in Pakistan either sticking to careers that they don't love and so not excelling, which is I feel the norm. Like I was telling Ahil this job, मुझे क्या था कि I don't know what to do. मैंने कहा the danger is not in not knowing what to do. The danger is in not giving yourself that space, because then you will end up choosing a path of mediocrity. चलो जैसे चल रहा है. And I knew from a very early age कि I don't want to be mediocre. Like whatever I do, I want to try and reach the skies. Like वो मेरे अंदर अभी भी है कि मैं जो भी करूँ, like even if I'm just bringing up my kids, I want to do it to like inhuman abilities, like do my very best.
Agreed.
Yeah.
ठीक है. So that obviously led you to go into journalism and do everything that you did. एंड माशाल्लाह से वो कंट्रीब्यूशंस तो मेरा ख्याल है पब्लिक डोमेन में मैं उस पर ज़्यादा बात नहीं करूँगी. मैं उस चीज़ को एक्सप्लोर करना चाहती हूँ जिसके बारे में आयशा नासिर ने पहले कभी बात नहीं की है. तो हम जर्नलिज्म के बाद मदरहुड और स्कैरी अम्मी, इन दोनों चीज़ों को कैसे लेके चलती हैं साथ? स्कैरी अम्मी शुरू क्यों किया था, और इसकी कम्युनिटी की पावर में आप कितना बिलीव करती हैं?
So when I had Kian, my eldest, when I was at Express News, I was senior executive producer, and Kian was like an Express baby. And uske baad, then I also had Ahil, also while I was at Express, because they're only separated by like 18 months, 14, okay, 13, 14 months. So I had Ahil. And that obviously with two babies under the age of like 2, because Kian was 1 something, and Ahil, it was becoming very difficult to manage like 12 hours in the newsroom. And you know, I do feel that had the management at Express wanted, or had we lived in a society where people believe that women should not have to choose between family and careers, it would not have been that difficult. Like, you know, at Express, like I was at a very senior position, so I tried a lot कि कोई daycare बन जाए, because I was breastfeeding पहले one and then the other one. And so like I tried कि कोई nursery बन जाए, pumping rooms बन जाए. Like I remember I used to go to the washroom and lock it and pump milk and then hide the bottles in this black box and, you know, send them home with my rider. Like, matlab, there was no place, there was no privacy in terms of where do you, like, there are no fridges and offices. Just like Express hai, so where do you even put the milk? And फिर मैं इतनी दफ़ा I would disappear to pump. And I would always have to have my phone on, and bathroom में signals नहीं आते थे, and like breaking news. It was like difficult, it was becoming difficult. And then there was a choice कि, you know, do you continue being like an absent and not the mother that I want to be, or do I then take a break? So I didn't take a full-time break. So what I did was I left Express and then I joined Dunya as a national correspondent. And मेरे mind में ये था कि because it's a national correspondent, right? So it's like basically reporting on the streets and all. So I thought that, you know, it would give me more flexibility, because I would go to the office, work on my story, like not work 14 ghante, work on my stories, go out and shoot my stories, and then take a break, go feed my kids, come back, sit with the edit machine वगैरह. But वो उस तरह हुआ नहीं, because the national correspondent job required traveling like all over the country. So I was traveling all the time. So I would take Ahil with me, my baby. But then it was becoming like I went to Karachi, Sakhar, Sialkot, matlab rose there was a new place. Like every other day I was at a new place. So I would take Ahil with me and leave Kian. But that was the time of bomb blasts and all. So ek dafa Ahil and I were in Quetta, and Ahil was like 2 months old, and we were like in a car, and literally like right in front of us there was a suicide bombing, and our car even shook. Matlab wo itna bura tha. It was so close that our car like began shaking like mad, but nothing got. And then I realized that, you know, is it even fair to expose like a baby to these dangers? So then I left Dunya, and then I thought, okay, while I have these small babies, I want to do like my own thing. So I launched a PR and media company called Walla PR, which did really well. We did work for Khadi, and we did work for Deepak Parwani, बहुत like अच्छे Dolmen Mall के लिए मैंने बहुत सी PR activities की. So it went really well. And then in that time, I then got pregnant with my 3rd child. And I think that was the first time that I took a real break, because we had moved to Islamabad. So while with Ahil, and after Dunya, I moved to Karachi. So I had 2 babies in a new city. And udari I launched Walla in a new city. By the time I moved to Islamabad, I had 3 babies under the age of like 4. And by then I thought that, okay, I need to take a break just to like figure things out. Okay, you know, new city, matlab, mashallah, 3 babies. Where do I see myself? What is the future? And then I took a break, and us break ke duran kyan ka HSN exam tha, so I took like I think a couple of years off. And then I'd obviously been wanting to go back and wanting to do something. And then I launched ScaryAmmi when I got pregnant with Sharan, my 4th, because I realized that there are so many people, so many mothers like me who are looking for community, who are looking for support, because you know the joint family system doesn't really exist right now at all. Like I was telling somebody this yesterday, that you're lucky in today's world if you have a joint family system, if you have familial support, if you can leave your children with family, you're lucky. It is no, like pehle when people would be like, why did you move back to Pakistan? The answer was generally family. Now that is not really an answer anymore, because family ki dynamics सारे बदल गए हैं, right? Like for example, if I look at myself, like I have mashallah like 5 kids. I can't leave any of them with my mom because my mom works. So who am I going to leave them with? My mom works, my dad works, and they also don't live in a joint family system. So उधर भी maids के पास ही छोड़ना है. So I obviously can't leave them there. I can't leave my kids with my sister because she works. So अब वो dynamic ही नहीं ना रहा. And if you look at majority families, either they're in different countries. So the idea कि बच्चों को नानों के घर छोड़ दो, बच्चे can go to dado's house. You're very lucky if you have it, but most people I know don't have it. Because if the mom and the grandmom is also working, so where will you leave the kids? Right?
True.
And it's unfair if I don't want to give up my career, so I no, my mom should give it up. वो भी unfair है. So our dynamics are so different. So to me, ScaryAmmi is that joint family system. You know, that vacuum that was created. It's now become like a digital joint family system. कि आपने टोटके पूछने हैं, आप ScaryAmmi पे पूछ लो. आपने recipes पूछनी है, ScaryAmmi पे पूछ लो. आपने बातचीत करनी है. Because isolating भी बहुत होता है ना, जब joint family system नहीं है. Joint family system में तो मासी, चाची, खाला, पुप्पो, they're all there. So you don't feel alone. But when you're alone bringing up kids, you can feel alone.
Pretty isolating, and I think it takes a toll on your mental health as well. और ख़ास तौर पे जो postpartum depression है, जो यहाँ पे बिल्कुल least recognized या acknowledged है. ठीक है, बिल्कुल सही है. अच्छा, ScaryAmmi की अगर हम बात करें, it has become a very dynamic and organically engaging society. जैसे कि आपने कहा, मैं खुद भी obviously I think I've been a part of it for a couple of years, and I've always found it very helpful. और आप बिल्कुल ठीक कह रही हैं, बहुत सारी ऐसी बातें होती हैं जो me being the only sister, probably I could never have the chance of asking my mother, because at that time I didn't need that information. और फिर उसके बाद मैं पढ़ने के लिए बाहर चली गई, और फिर मेरी शादी हो गई, और आई नेवर गॉट द चांस कि वो घर में रह के वो जो लड़कियां वो चीज़ें सीख लेती हैं कि अच्छा फ़लाँ जगह पे कौन से कपड़े होने चाहिए, फ़लाँ शादी में कौन सी रस्में होनी चाहिए. लेट्स सपोज इंशाल्लाह कल को जब मेरे बच्चे होंगे तो उसमें भी मुझे 10,000 जगहों पे पूछने की ज़रूरत पड़ेगी. वो सारी चीज़ें, वो एलिमेंट जो फैमिलीज़ की डायनामिक्स में मिसिंग है, वो मैं वहाँ पर देखती हूँ. सो दैट्स प्रीटी गुड. लेकिन उसके बावजूद आयशा, बहुत सारी ख़वातीन में या बहुत सारी फैमिलीज़ में हम ये देखते हैं कि वो जो एक नेगेटिविटी का एलिमेंट अभी भी बाकी है. जैसे हम ये कहते हैं ना कि अगर कोई वहाँ पे प्रॉब्लम पोस्ट करता है किसी ग्रुप में एनोनिमसली या नाम के साथ, अ लॉट ऑफ पीपल कम for the support, which is really good. लेकिन कल मैं एक कमेंट देख रही थी पोस्ट के ऊपर, तो it was regarding some दूसरी शादी के डिवोर्सी की दूसरी शादी को सपोर्ट नहीं करते हैं ऑल दैट, और लोगों ने बड़ा हौसला दिया हुआ था ख़वातीन ने उसको. एक बंदी के कमेंट पे ना मैं रुक गई. उसने कहा कि ये सारे माशाल्लाह बहुत अच्छी अच्छी बातें आप लोग करें, ये सारे ऐसे सारे लोग असल ज़िंदगी में कहाँ हैं? इस गैप को कैसे फिल कर सकते हैं हम? एज समबडी, यू एंड आई बीइंग यू नो द हाउस मिनिस्टर्स, बहुत सारे ऐसे फैसले होते हैं जो घर के मर्द नहीं कर रहे होते, हमारे हस्बैंड्स नहीं कर रहे होते. वी आर मेकिंग दोज डिसीजंस कि फैमिली की हेल्थ, बच्चों की हेल्थ, बच्चों के कपड़े, फैमिली की शॉपिंग, ये सारे डिसीजंस हम कर रहे होते हैं. हम इस रोल के अंदर ये गैप को कैसे फिल करें?
So I think, you know, I was talking about this yesterday, you know, the bullying incident that happened in Scarsdale, right? It shows us so much. So those girls, even the perpetrators are girls, like 18, 19, but you're still a child. And the fact that families and our society and the school has allowed them to become monsters shows that, you know, society में वही चीज़ फ्लरिश करती है जिसको आप रिवॉर्ड करते हो, सैडली. सो बिकॉज हम पाकिस्तान में पैसे को बहुत रिवॉर्ड करते हैं एंड फैमिली नेम्स को बहुत रिवॉर्ड करते हैं, मतलब शादियां भी हम इसी बेसिस पे करते हैं कि व्हाट गाड़ी डज द गाय हैव एंड व्हाट
family does he come
you know what
from?
family. Hence our society, because we reward those things, is moving in that direction, which is why you will see that amongst the youth you won't see that passion to change the world. You won't see that passion to bring about positive change, because that's not rewarded. Will anybody say जब अपनी बेटी की शादी करनी है, oh I want her to get married to somebody who's very patriotic? No, we don't care. So we don't value that, we don't reward it. And similarly, we don't reward kindness, we don't reward empathy. Those are not values we discuss. What do we reward? The bag that girl is carrying. What do we reward? The vacations she's taken. Like, it's just very sad. So my daughter that day was saying, I want an iPhone 11, I want an iPhone 11. And I was like, why? Right? Because I'm all about giving children technology. But I was like, why are you so specific on an iPhone 11? And she's like, oh, because an iPhone 10 or 9 is embarrassing. Or maybe I said to her, why don't you start with an iPhone 7? That you start learning it. And she's like, that's embarrassing. And because she's only 9. So I was thinking to myself, obviously she's being made to feel this way. Right? Ab Nasir and I are not those kind of parents. So, and तो हमने तो उसको डेफिनेटली ये नहीं कहा कि इट्स एम्बैरेसिंग. मतलब मैं तो बचपन से अपने बच्चों को कहती आई हूँ कि यू नो टेक्नोलॉजी सिर्फ वहाँ तक फ़ायदेमंद है जब तक वो आपको फ़ायदा दे. इफ़ टेक्नोलॉजी इज़ कंट्रोलिंग यू, लाइक आवर फोन्स कंट्रोल अस, तो आई सेड देन देयर इज़ अ प्रॉब्लम. सो यू ऑलवेज नीड टू बी इन चार्ज. सो आई हैव नेवर बीन द काइंड ऑफ मॉम हू वुड बी लाइक, oh my god, like if I don't have an iPhone 15 or 14, right? So obviously she's being made to feel that way. And that is where the problem is. When when we don't applaud empathy, when we don't applaud kindness, when we don't applaud thinking about each other, caring about each other, then obviously we will end up creating monsters, because we're applauding all the attributes that monsters have. And it is very sad, like the way our society is deteriorating. Like, honestly, it keeps coming back to me. So when my dad moved back from the UK, he moved back, I think my brother was born here. So maybe I was like 4 and my sister was 3. I don't know. And he says he moved back because he felt ke tarbiyat idhar betiyon ki achhi hogi. You know, that's what he says. And he says he moved back because he felt ke yahan ki values behtar hain. And also maybe he felt more connected. And I was thinking that I would probably move out of Pakistan for tarbiyat, because I actually believe that how can I, in this society, do the tarbiyat of my children that I want to do? How? Like, you can't. Children don't grow up in vacuums. Their children become a product of everything that they imbibe in school, on the streets, from the neighbors, from relatives. When as a society we've just decided that we don't want to, you know, we don't want to applaud patriotism, we don't want to applaud empathy, we don't want to applaud charity, we don't want to applaud kindness, तो फिर मतलब फिर रह क्या गया है?
Only thing probably that's left, अभी कल ही मैं डिस्कशन कर रही थी एक फ्रेंड के साथ, and I was Aisha, I actually feel के the moment I stepped into healthcare, क्योंकि ट्रेनिंग एक बहुत डिफरेंट चीज़ है. ट्रेनिंग में आपको लोग ट्रेनर के तौर पे देखते हैं और उसी तरह से इंटरेक्ट करते हैं आपसे, और आपका बस उतना ही ताल्लुक वास्ता होता है कि आपने मेंटोरशिप दे दी और ट्रेनिंग दे दी और किसी को किसी माइलस्टोन तक पहुंचा दिया जहां उसने पहुंचना था, एंड देन you're डन. उसके अलावा आपको कोई उसकी लाइफ की ज़िंदगी के किसी हिस्से को टच नहीं कर रहे, कोई डिफरेंस उस तरह से एज सच नहीं ला रहे ऑन अ वेरी डीपर लेवल. बट द मोमेंट दैट आई स्टेप्ड इनटू हेल्थ केयर and I stepped into a startup, and I felt the need that I have to take the startup to people, telling them that this is what I'm doing for you, so you need to carry this message along, you need to carry this mission and vision that I am taking. क्योंकि इसको मैंने बिल्कुल pivot करके women centric कर दिया. It is extremely sad for me to see कि most of the times that I meet people, especially women, they would not even utter a single word of validation.
Yeah.
It's very disheartening for me to see कि वो आपको सिर्फ एक लफ्ज appreciation का भी नहीं कहेंगे कि हाँ जो कर रही हो वो ठीक है.
But they will appreciate your jora. They will appreciate your bag. They will comment on your weight. And I'm not saying that the women are wrong. We are all a product of the place we live in, of the society we live in, of the conversations
अच्छा, मैं
we have.
women को खास तौर पे इसलिए कह रही हूँ, ये पहले ना एक अब मैं कैंडिड नोट पे एक बात बताती हूँ आपको. यूथ असेंबली का और यूथ पार्लियामेंट का मैं हिस्सा थी कोई 4-5 साल पहले, when I was a student. सो उन्होंने मुझे रिसेंटली बुलाया पिछले साल एक फोरम पे बात करने के लिए, और विमेन एमेंसिपेशन का टॉपिक था, फेमिनिज्म का और सारा पेट्रियार्की वगैरह वगैरह. तो वहाँ पे मैंने बात की, और उससे कुछ मिलती जुलती बात आजकल मैं एक अफसाने पे काम कर रही हूँ, तो मैंने उसमें भी लिखी कि हम ख़वातीन के हकूक़ पे बहुत बात करते हैं, लेकिन ख़वातीन के हकूक़ को गस्ब करने वाले लोगों की तरबियत करने वाली ख़वातीन के ऊपर हम बात नहीं करते, which is extremely problematic on so many levels.
Yeah.
And I offended a lot of people. I'm sorry, I offended a lot of women.
Yeah.
कि ये आप कैसी बात करिए, आप तो बिल्कुल अगेंस्ट बात करिए ख़वातीन के. मैंने कहा नहीं, ख़वातीन के अगेंस्ट बात नहीं करी, ये हमारी एज अ ह्यूमन रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी थी, हमें ज़मीन पे भेजे जाने का मकसद था ये, और हम उसको भूल के पता नहीं किन चक्करों में पड़ के और किन फॉल्स ईगोज़ में और अपने ही किसी मेंटल बैरियर में फंसे हुए हैं, और हम उस तरह की डीप कंडीशनिंग के साथ बड़े हुए हैं. और हमारा सबसे बड़ा कसूर ये है कि हम ना उसको रियलाइज़ करते हैं कि गलत है, और जब रियलाइज़ नहीं करते तो रिड्रेस भी नहीं करते और उसको पास ऑन कर रहे हैं. और मैं अभी जितने अपने सोशल सर्कल में मूव कर रही हूँ, मेरा ख्याल है 90% ऐसी ही ख़वातीन से मिलती हूँ जो वाकई आपको इसीलिए वैल्यू करेंगी कि अच्छा वो फलां गाड़ी से उतरी हैं और उनके पास वो 20-30 हज़ार का 40 हज़ार का बैग है और 1.5 लाख की घड़ी है, ओके गुड, ये बात करने के काबिल है. And they will tell you all the nice things about you and your cause कि हाँ women के हेल्थ केयर के ऊपर बहुत अच्छा काम कर रही हो, and later they're not gonna pick up your phone.
Yeah.
Because उनको आपको ये बताना पड़ जाएगा कि आप जैसे हम शाउट आउट की बात कर लेते हैं, कितनी सिंपल चीज़ है शाउट आउट, 30 सेकंड की बात है ना, उसमें सिर्फ आप दूसरे को ये वैलिडेशन दे रहे हो, उसके दिल को तसल्ली दे रहे हो, उसको एक वर्ड ऑफ इंकरेजमेंट दे रहे हो कि हाँ यार, यू आर डूइंग गुड, यू आर नॉट स्पेंडिंग मनी ऑन इट, बट पीपल डोंट डू इट. इट्स वेरी अनफॉर्चुनेट. इसी गैप की आप भी बात कर रही हैं, इसी गैप की मैं भी बात कर रही हूँ. हम एज अ वुमेन सेंट्रिक कम्युनिटी इस गैप को फिल कैसे कर सकते हैं?
So, I don't think that the narrative of a society changes on the behest of one person.
Yeah, I agree.
Right?
I agree.
But I do feel that my role is to have those conversations, to discuss those topics, to talk about them, and I talk about them all the time. And hopefully one conversation spurs another conversation, conversation. But obviously, there's such deep-seated issues in Pakistan and in our society in particular that you can't, like a lot of people attribute it to religion, you can't. Because there are lots of Muslim countries that are very empathetic, that have kindness and empathy as their values. So it's hard. Obviously, when you look at the people of Pakistan, they are a very downtrodden nation, because look at everything we're going through right now. I mean, it's 2023 and there's no electricity, there's no water, there's no gas. The air isn't clean to breathe. Like those of us who are bringing up children are like, oh my God, our wealth has taken like a massive nosedive. So the poor, like those of us who trusted in our country and invested money in the properties here are like, why did I do this? But which means that next time even we won't do it. So who will invest in Pakistan? Right? Like everybody who bought a house has lost money. Everybody who bought a property, because हम लोग तो generally Pakistan में अपनी wealth properties में रखते हैं. Everybody who did that is like, why did I do that?
Questioning their sanity, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
and
true.
that is sad. Very,
It's
very sad. कि भाई investing in your country is now being thought of as a financially irresponsible duty. मतलब दुबई में क्यों नहीं इन्वेस्ट किया, मतलब पैसे डॉलर्स में क्यों नहीं रख लिया, मतलब people are saying कि रुपीस में रखे, क्यों गलती तो आप लोगों की, and you are like यार this is how bad things have become. So obviously the people of Pakistan have suffered so much that maybe they've realized that kindness and empathy has no place, but till they realize it does have a place, we're not going to.
And I think redress करने का starting point ही वही है when they realize कि अच्छा this is exactly where we need to start.
Yeah.
Start correcting things.
Exactly.
Hopefully इंशाल्लाह. अच्छा मेरे जहन में ना बहुत सारे सवाल हैं लेकिन इनके ऊपर हम एक follow-up session rखेंगे.
ज़रूर.
So let's promise. Aisha is promising on camera.
Yes.
So she's bound to come inshallah.
Yes, I will.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I had a beautiful conversation with you.
Thank
and
you.
actually हम ये conversation कर ही इसीलिए रहे थे because I see you as somebody who is open and enthusiastic to talk about these things. So मेरा नहीं ख्याल मैंने कुछ ज़्यादा ख़वातीन के साथ इस तरह की. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It was great
Thank
having
you
you
for
here.
having me.
Thank you so much for listening to us. अगर आपने इस podcast में से कुछ सीखा है नया, जो कि I'm sure सीखा होगा, comment में लिख के ज़रूर बताइए. एक नई podcast के साथ इसी चैनल पे दोबारा मुलाकात होगी. अपनी लर्निंग्स को दूसरों के साथ शेयर करें, इस वीडियो को भी शेयर करें. अच्छी बात फैलाना ऑब्वियसली सदका है. खुश रहें, आसानियाँ बांटें. थैंक यू सो मच.
Thank you.